All right, so we're going to start at our home page again, obviously just for, obvious reasons. That way we have one place to actually start from. All right, so let's go and talk about our marketing section now. All right, so that's going to be our final thing we're going to talk about today is the marketing section. All right, so with this one on here, all we'll need to do is click the plus sign of myMarketing. All right, we can go to create marketing materials, or manage and create campaigns. Now we're going to start with create marketing materials because this is going to take us to a section called the marketing center. All right, that's kind of a culmination of all of the different marketing pieces that you can actually utilize. So I just want to give you a heads up. All right, so we're going to go to the marketing center on here. All right. So when we click on create marketing materials, this is going to take us back to our marketing center. Here we go. All right, and when we're doing that on here, as you can see, keep in touch with customizable marketing templates and campaigns. All right, so when taking a look at that on here, all right, this is where we can actually view all the different templates that we can now utilize. All right, so just to give you a heads up. All right, so whenever we actually come right over here, we can view all of our different marketing pieces that we may have created previously. So we can actually see the monthly newsletter, which is a newsletter that comes out each month from the Market Leader platform. All right, so in this case, it'll automatically come out with, different real estate industry news, and this is the one campaign that never stops. I do want to make sure you guys are note that this is the one campaign that constantly goes. All right, that's the good part about it. Now, in addition to that, we also happen to have our campaign section. So under My Campaigns, this is where you can actually go through and view all of your campaigns you've previously set up. Or you can also view all of your previously saved designs of pieces that you may have created. All right. And then, of course, down here, we also happen to have the images section. Now, the images section is where we can actually go through and view all the different images that we may have added into. Mailing lists are really just going to be in case you want to do any like postcard mail outs or any just kind of mail outs from the platform. So if you happen to have a list of people you want to send this out to, all right, this is where you can actually import that list so that way you can send this out. Now, obviously, if you're ever doing any type of print marketing, it would cost money because you have to pay for it to be created. Plus, you also have to pay for the postage. All right, so that's the big thing on there. Now, under Design Library, we also happen to have all of our templates we could utilize, so we can go through and update that even further. We have our email and video marketing options, so we can actually look at all of our different email templates that might be available, or our print marketing templates. Now, not all print marketing templates will you have to actually purchase. Or in fact, none of them you have to purchase. You can actually download these print marketing pieces as a PDF and print it yourself. All right, so if you happen to have a printer at your home or even over at work, obviously they'll have a printer. You can print this off no problem. All right, so that's just kind of the marketing center in a nutshell. So here's all of your marketing stuff you can utilize. Now, if we click on marketing up here, right? Obviously, it looks like a little Target on here. It looks like the Target logo, actually. All right, so if we click on marketing up here, then not only can we see our marketing center, all right, but then we can also go to manage campaigns on here. All right, so let's go to manage campaigns real quick. All right, so I'm going to click on manage campaigns, and this is where we can actually view all of our different campaigns. All right, here we go. All right, so once we click on that, then we can actually view all of our campaigns we currently have active or just the campaigns we've created. Now, everyone's going to have this monthly newsletter on here. All right, so as you can see, we have our monthly newsletter campaign. All right, then we can actually see how many contacts are on here, how many groups we actually have added into the campaign, and then, of course, all the steps on here, too, whether it's an email step, a print mail step, or an activity step that we need to do. All right, now it's always going to say active, but if you have 0 contacts on here, you won't have to worry about this going out. So she currently just has one active campaign, all right, with one contact added on it. Now, if you have any groups added on it, the cool part about this, and this is a recent update, is if you add over groups to the campaign now, whenever you add new contacts to the group and they fit the qualifications to be added to the campaign, all right, then they'll automatically be added over. So say, for instance, you're doing an email campaign, you add a new person to your 8x8 buyer group, because this is an 8x8 buyer campaign. All right, if she had the 8x8 buyer group set up under the group section on this campaign, that contact would automatically be added. So you wouldn't have to add them to the group and then add them to the campaign separately. All right, and of course, whenever these campaigns are completed, you can actually add them over to any active or pause campaigns as well. All right, so that way you can kind of start an endless loop of people being on campaigns. Now, this is where you can also view the performance of each campaign too, in case you want to see how well each campaign is doing. All right, but to add a new campaign, it's pretty simple. Just click that Add New Campaign option at the top right up here in blue. All right, and this will allow us to go through and add this campaign immediately. All right, so once I click on Add New Campaign on here, all right, then we can actually go through and view all of our different campaigns that are available for us to send out. All right, now when taking a look at this on here, all right, we can actually view all of our current templates that are available. And with the regular EDGE account, we have 62 different results available. Now, if you have the Pro account, you're obviously going to have more. All right, or of course, you can scroll up and down. All right, you're viewing that right over here, from A to Z in the title, basically. All right, or of course, we can actually go over here and search even further. Now, for the delivery schedule option, we can search by date, interval, birthday, anniversary. I was about to say activity. All right, so birthday and anniversary are pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, you'll know, hey, this is for someone that has their birthday. This is someone that has an anniversary under their contact in the back end. All right, now date and interval, on the other hand, are going to be slightly different. All right, the date campaign means that it's going to be a date that you actually know this piece is coming out on. The interval, on the other hand, is just going to be a different interval between each piece. All right, so whether the campaign comes out every 7 days, every 10 days, every 30 days, whatever it might be. All right, so the big difference on here, let's say, for instance, we add a date campaign today, and we add 100 contacts to that campaign on January 16th. All right, then let's say a month from now, on February 16th, we add another 100 contacts to the same date campaign. Those 100 contacts we add on February 16th would start from February 16th moving forward, because the date from January 16th all the way through February 16th are in the past now. All right, so they can't have those pieces come out because they're in the past. All right, now if we did an interval campaign of 100 contacts today, 100 contacts a month from now, those contacts that are added on February 16th would start at the very beginning. All right, because for an interval campaign, it doesn't matter when the piece comes out. You're just going to know the interval between each piece. All right, so in this case, if you want something that's a little bit more long-lasting that doesn't have to come out on a certain time, you might want to go with an interval. If you're doing anything specifically holiday-oriented, you definitely want to go with a date campaign. All right, so just a heads up on that. Now, in addition to that, you also have your collections on here too. Market My Business, Buyers, Sellers, Sphere, or Repeat and Referral. If you have the Pro account, you'll have even more collections, and these are basically just groups of different campaigns that you might want to take a look at. All right, or of course, you can search by the campaign title if you're looking for a 12 direct, an 8x8, a 33 touch, anything like that. Or there is an option down here that's been here for a while where you can actually create custom campaigns. All right, so this way you can actually start from scratch on an interval or date campaign. Now, you can't upload your own pieces that you've created. You have to use templates inside the EDGE platform. But at the end of the day, at least you can go through and start from scratch. So that's one good thing about it. All right, now I'm just going to look at this first option we have up here, 12 Direct Home Ownership Know-How. All right, it's a 2017 to 2018 12 Direct date campaign, so some of these dates may have already passed. All right, but as you can see, new for 2017-2018, this campaign connects you with contacts in your database by offering home maintenance and value-creating tips, establishing you as a trusted source. So before you even choose this template, you can always see what type of campaign it is, whether it's a date or interval, all right, or birthday or anniversary, obviously. You can see how many steps are on here, email steps that is. Remember, 5,000 emails a month is your limitation. You can see how many direct mail steps there are. If there are not any direct mail steps on here, that means that it's going to be free. All right, if there are direct mail steps, obviously you have to pay for it because you have to purchase the piece to be made and mailed out. All right, and then you can see how many activity steps are on here. Activity steps typically are things for you to do, whether it's to call your database, whether it's, basically in this case, probably alerting you that the campaign has ended, all right, different items like that. Now you can also click on Show Campaign Step Details down here, just so you can actually get an idea as to what all these campaign steps look like. All right, so in this case, as you can see, step 1 is your home smart. Step 2, 5 quick do-it-yourself projects. Step 3, 10 security tips. Step 4, 5 ways to update something. All right, you can actually click on all these to get an idea as to what they look like. Now you can personalize any of these pieces. You can actually delete any of them as well, so everything is completely customizable. So I'm going to click choose this template on here just so I can choose this so we can check this out even further. Now when you're setting up an email campaign or just a campaign in general, there are 4 steps that you can actually do on here, and here are the 4 steps. Now step 1 is pretty easy cheesy. It's literally just naming the campaign. Now you are not under any circumstance required to go through and actually rename this campaign. All right, that is completely up to you if you want to rename it. Cool. All right, so in this case, as you can see, all right, we've got 2017, 2018, 12 direct home ownership know-how to. All right, so if I want to rename that, I'm definitely more than welcome to. All right, and of course, once I add inside this new name, I just click Save and Continue, and I'm done. Now, it's not an obligation. Obviously, you can leave it as is, completely up to you in this case. Now, step 2 and 3 are really more of the bulk of everything on here. All right, this is really what you want to take a look at. All right, because step 2 on here is where we can actually take a look at all the pieces that would be coming out. Now, this is a 12 direct campaign, but if you remember, it was a date campaign. So some of these pieces, especially since it said 2017, I knew it already, been in the past. So it looks like 2 of those pieces or a couple of those pieces have already happened, so we won't be able to send them out. All right, so the first piece that's actually coming out is literally coming out tomorrow. All right, so we've got scheduled on here 1/17/2018. Embrace the new year with your fresh look for your home. All right, so we could then actually click on this to view what it would look like even further if we want to, or we could even click on personalize if we want to personalize it too. Now you can change the email subject line if you want to update this even further. You can click on the calendar option if you want to change when this is going to come out. Now just to give you a heads up, it has to come out at least a day later. You won't be able to send it out the same day, so as you can see, it is, they're both grayed, but it's light grayed out on the 16th, meaning we can't click on that. But if I want to send this out on the 20th, that's no problem. I can click on 20 and I'm good to go. Now, once again, you can click this X button at the top right up here if you ever want to delete any of these pieces, and you can even click Add Step if you want to add inside a brand new step or utilize any of the other templates inside your eEdge campaigns. All right, so any of the eEdge pieces that are available, you can actually add over here too, and you can tweak them at any time. Now, once again, you're not obligated to change anything, but if you do change anything, scroll to the very bottom and make sure you click that Save option on here. So it looks like this campaign's going all the way through September, basically. All right, so September 21st is where it's going to let you know it's come to an end. All right, so if I click that Save and Continue option, then that one minor change that I made of the date of this first piece coming out on the 20th instead of tomorrow on the 17th would be the only update that's happened. All right, but once again, you can't change anything at any time. All right, so the goal obviously today is to show you, hey, this is where you can go to access everything, so that way you can play around with it. Now, step 3 on here is where you can actually add or remove the contacts. So in this case, if I want to go through and I want to just bulk add from groups, I definitely can. So I can actually click on any of the other groups that I actually want to add on here. All right, so completely up to you if you want to utilize it that way. Now, once again, remember, if you do bulk add groups, whenever you add a new contact to that group later on, all right, it'll automatically add them over to the campaign if it's eligible. All right, so that way, say for instance, if it's an email campaign, you add someone in and they have a phone number only and you put them in that group, obviously they won't be added to the campaign. All right, but if you put someone else in that same group that has an email, they'll automatically be added. All right, so in this case, since it's a 12 direct, I could technically click on the add option for 12 direct to add these people over. All right, or of course, I could always click the contact option up here too. All right, so that way, if I want to go through, I can view all of our contacts that are eligible. All right, now eligible contacts are contacts that have an email address in this case, since it's an email campaign. All right, have a legitimate email, not one that has come back saying it's undeliverable. All right, and more importantly, they have not unsubscribed. That's a big thing. All right, if they unsubscribe, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to add them over to the campaign. All right, so in this case, you can actually search by name or email if you want to. They're typically in alphabetical order by first name. These people don't have a first name for some reason. That's why they're at the top up here. All right, but then you can actually go through and add them as well. All right, or you can even search by status in case you want to bulk add by status too. So if I want to see all the different people that are hot, then I could click Add All Contacts, and I've added all the people that are hot as well. All right, so completely up to you in this case. But always click Save Changes. That way you update everything immediately. All right, now the final item we'd have to do is click Review and Activate on here. All right, and if it ever says this, you've made edits, that have not been saved, these edits will be discarded if you continue. Just click Continue. I've saved everything on here. All right, so a question came through, a little bit confused between the individual contacts, groups, buyer, seller, etc., and the various touch groups. So in this case on here, you can add, bulk add by groups if you've already added the contacts to a group. And that way, if you ever add a contact to that group later on, it'll automatically add them over to any campaigns that the groups are linked up with. So if I activate this and I decide later on to add a couple more contacts over my 12 direct group, they would automatically be added to this campaign. All right, this contact section is just in case you want to go through and just add some individual contacts that might not be in groups, or maybe you don't want to add a group, at all. That way you can just kind of choose them on here. All right, or of course you can also find different statuses as well. So that way it'll just make it a little bit easier to see who you want to add over to the right. So that way you can be very particular as to who you're actually adding these campaigns. So the big draw to adding to groups on here is that if you ever decide later on just to add a couple new contacts over to that particular group, and that group is already on this campaign, so in this case the 12 direct group would be on this campaign, then anytime I add any new contacts to that 12 direct group, they would automatically be added to the campaign too. So that's one of the big draws for it, because it'll just kind of help you out to make everything a little bit easier, so you're not having to add contacts to a group and then also add them to the campaign too. It just kind of does it all in one swoop basically. All right, but under Review and Activate, down here, then you can see once a contact completes this campaign, we can then add them over to any active or paused campaigns that we'd like to. All right, so completely up to you if you want to, or of course you can click None Selected if you don't want to do that. All right, and then right where it says, I have reviewed this campaign's recipients, I agree that all email recipients have opted in to receive email from me and are not from harvested or purchased list. We have to check that each time in order for this Activate button to actually pop up. If you notice, if I uncheck it, it's not active. So we have to check that each time, basically saying we understand. All right, because then we can activate campaigns, we can save campaigns, we could cancel this altogether, or this is the one location where you can delete everything. Now, if you want to include showcase properties, those are typically going to be properties that are either your office listings or your listings that you want to display at the bottom of different pieces that come out, and usually it's just various ones that you're deciding to showcase. All right, you can. That's a little bit more advanced, so we usually go over that inside our database management class instead. All right, so we just want to get through the basics on here, but I'm going to delete this real quick because I don't want to clutter up her stuff. All right, but then that's how you could actually go through and activate a campaign immediately. Now, once again, whenever you add inside a campaign, please, please, please make sure that you are always on that campaign. I want to make sure that you're receiving everything that all of your contacts are receiving too. All right, so at the end of the day, make sure that you're on that campaign. All right, so then the final thing under the marketing section is the Manage Designs section. Now, this is where you can actually view all of your previous designs that you've actually saved. All right, and then in addition to that, you can also go through and activate any designs too. All right, so I'm going to click on Manage Designs real quick. All right, so these are all the designs that she's actually created on here. So just 6 different designs because we're currently under the Save Design section. All right, then we also happen to have our design library. So I'm going to click on that because this is where you can actually view all the different pieces or different templates that you can utilize on here. That's all the different options that are available. Alright, so once I click on Design Library, as you can see with the regular eEdge account, I've got 631 different templates that are currently available for us to utilize on here. Alright, and of course I can just scroll down and search through everything. They're in alphabetical order, as you can see, sort by title, A to Z or Z to A. I can search by what I might be looking for. Maybe it's just listed, just sold, different pieces like that. I can view listing only pieces in case I want to make a property flyer or maybe an open house flyer. I can actually view email only pieces, postcard only pieces, flyers, greeting cards, or guides. Now if you're looking for listing a buyer presentation, that's going to be under the guide section. So in this case, you might just want to go through and uncheck everything except guide. Now for the collection section on here, this is where you can actually view different collections, as you can see. Alright, and there is even one on here for listing and buyer presentations as well. Alright, so these are pretty much just groups of different pieces that you might want to utilize. Alright, now I'm just going to go ahead and take a look at these two right here. The first two that'll pop up for everyone regardless if we're in the eEdge, regular account or the Pro account. Alright, so if you see where it says postcard on here, that means it's going to be a print marketing piece. So that means you can either order printing and pay for it, or you can download it as a PDF so you can utilize it instead. Now the email one on here, it says HTML optimized, is going to be an email piece that you can actually send out. Alright, so in this case, I'm going to utilize the email piece, because remember we can send out 5,000 emails a month. Alright, so I'm going to go and click on this Who's Number One in Real Estate option, just so I can take a further look at everything on here. Now obviously you can use whichever piece you want to play along. If you want to use this one, feel free to. Alright, they'll all pretty much do the same thing in this case if you're using an email one. Alright, but once I click on this, and this is going to give me a preview of what our piece is going to look like. Alright, so I'm proud to be part of the world's largest real estate franchise by agent count, yet the true honor is serving you. Alright, so it's just going to talk about Keller Williams, and how we can help out, and how we're the biggest biggest real estate agent, or franchise, I guess, not agency. Alright, by agent count. Alright, now this down here will auto-populate with our info that we put inside that account, my account section. So if you remember, when we add inside our marketing headshot, this is where it goes. We add inside our name, this is where it goes. Add inside our company and whatnot. Alright, our title, our DRE number, our phone numbers, our call to action. Alright, so it all displays on here. So if you want to see what that looks like, let's just click the personalize option real quick. Alright, when we click on personalize, this is where everything would look like, and you can see everything will start to auto-populate down here for us too. So I'm going to play around with that in a second. So first thing first up here, I'm proud to be part of the world's largest real estate franchise by agent count, yet the true honor is serving you. We can actually go through and change this. So if I click on this up here, you can see it does a little dash outline where we have kind of squares in the corner around here. Alright, so that basically just means that this is going to be an image. Alright, so we can actually make it bigger or smaller by dragging it from the corner. Alright, once we click on this, then you can actually see the image libraries, where we can either upload our own image if we want to. Alright, so you can actually go through and override this and upload any image you'd prefer from your desktop laptop. Alright, or you can use stock images too. Alright, so under the stock images section on here, you can actually go through and choose any of the different stock images that are currently available to utilize. Alright, so completely up to you in this case. Alright, so if I did click on the upload image, just like we've seen the whole time, you can drag and drop the image on here if you have it on another screen. Alright, or of course, you can just click select file and then you can actually add it as well. Alright, so I just want to give you guys a heads up, very similar to how we've been attaching images the whole time. Alright, now right below that, oh, and of course, just to give you a heads up, if you ever click on this, you can also click the delete button on your computer, or on your keyboard that is, and that'll delete everything. Now if you did that on accident, there is an undo button up here, so that way you can undo everything immediately. Alright, same thing comes on here for the text. You can actually go through and change out this text if you want to. Alright, so you can add inside whatever you want. Alright, completely up to you at this case. Alright, so I just added inside Scott Leroy Marketing, and we have all of our different editing tools up here. So if I want to change the font or the font size, I can bold, italicize, underline this text. I can even change the color. I can change the background color. I can add inside a numbered list. I can add inside a bulleted list. Right? I can change inside the line height or the text alignment. If I don't want it to be to the left, maybe I want to make sure that it is centered. All right, I can hyperlink this as well, so when someone clicks on this, it'll take them over to another, website or anything of that sort. All right, you have a bunch of different options that are available for you on here just from this little editing tool up here. Now, what I always tell people is whenever you are going through and editing stuff, just play around. All right, that's the best way to get used to everything, is just kind of play with everything and see what it does. All right, so I just add inside some additional text on here. Now, if I want to, then I could get rid of all this down here because there are a couple other things I want to show you that you can add inside. All right, because in our editing section on here, you can actually add inside images, videos, or articles. All right, so adding inside the image is very similar to how we had a custom image up here. All right, we can just click on the image option, which is what I just did. I just clicked on that image option, gives us a blank image. And then we can upload an image if we want to from our desktop, or we can actually use a stock image on here too. All right, so we can choose any of these different stock image options. Maybe I'll use nature and background. I'll put inside, path in the fall. All right, and once again, from the corners, you can drag this out to make it bigger or smaller, depending on how you want it to look. All right, so you can always change this out to update it. All right, and you can even hyperlink this too, so when someone clicks on that image, it would automatically take them over to whatever page you want to direct them to. All right, so completely up to you. And this is all added inside just by clicking that image option. All right, and once again, if we click on it and click the delete option on our keyboard, it'll delete it immediately for us. Now, in addition to that, you can also add inside videos. All right, so if I click on this video link up here, this little play icon. Oh, let me click on that so I can click on the play icon. Sorry about that. All right, then I can actually put inside a YouTube or Vimeo URL on here, and it'll automatically add inside the video. Now, what it's going to do whenever you send out this email, all right, is it's automatically going to have an image of the video with a giant play button on it. All right, so in this case, instead of it actually just being like an HTML video where inside the email they can just click on it and it starts playing, whenever they click on this, it would then take them over to the YouTube video to watch it. All right, so I just want to give you a heads up on that. All right, so if I went over to youtube.com, for instance, so I'm going to go to youtube.com/Keller Williams. No, not Skeller Williams, Keller Williams. There you go. Perfect. This is what I was looking for. All right, so you can choose whatever video you want to on here. All right, so maybe I wanted to do, this came out 6 days ago. I want to do this month in real estate. All right, so if I click on this month in real estate for January 2018, all right, so once I click on that, I always love seeing all these things on the right-hand side. Oh, here's the autoplay. What's coming next? All right, so once I click on that, I can actually copy the URL up here inside the address bar. All right, I can copy that URL. All right, now once I copy that URL, I can either Control-C if I'm on a PC. If you're on a Mac, you can do Command-C. You can always right-click copy as well. All right, completely up to you in this case. All right, but now that I have that URL saved, I can go back. I can paste it inside up here where it says submit your video URL. And once I click submit, all right, then it'll automatically add that in for me. And once again, I can make it bigger or smaller, however I prefer. All right, so as you can see, there's a play icon on here. So once they actually click on that, it would take them over to YouTube directly so they can actually watch that video. All right, so completely up to you if you want to add inside a video on here. All right, maybe you have your own video that you want to add in. All right, so I'm going to click the backspace to get rid of it. Now, the final item that you could also add inside are pre-written articles. All right, so if I click on the article section on here, hopefully it pops up. There we go. All right, then we have different article options. As you can see, we have birthday greetings, Christmas greetings, financial mortgage, health and wellness, so on and so forth. All right, I can choose whichever one I want to, and then it'll actually give me a size of the article that I can choose from. All right, whether I want to be it small, a medium-sized article, large, or a full-sized article. All right, so if I do a small one, then I can actually have different articles that are pre-written for us. All right, so maybe I want to use this one that says real estate trends. All right, so if I click on real estate trends, it automatically adds inside the article for us. All right, so here you go. All right. Now, whenever we actually add this inside, no worries, you're good to go. So whenever we actually add this inside on here, it is going to come in very small font, just to give you a heads up. It comes in about 7-point font. Now, usually I always suggest making it maybe 10 to 12. I usually do 12 just because obviously that's a little bit easier to read. All right, but in this case, even if you add inside this small article, this is still a lot of text. Maybe you don't want to put this much on here. All right, you can delete whatever you want to. All right, so I can delete this. I could delete this. All right, I can add inside whatever I want to. All right, this is just basically text that you can add inside. It's nothing that is a necessity. So if you choose an article, you don't have to use everything that's on there. I want to make sure you guys know that. All right, so completely up to you in that case, but that's an additional way where you can add inside images, videos, and then obviously article too. Now scrolling down, we're going to have our footer on here. Now the footer is everything that's going to auto-populate for us. All right, so if you recall, here's her name, the Godfrey Real Estate Group, and then here are designations. She had Realtor and SRES. All right, here's the company name, Keller Williams Realty. Here are the 2 phone numbers she had linked up, her cell phone, and then obviously her office phone. Down here, she didn't have a call to action, so nothing's displaying. All right, click here to download my mobile app. That's directly linked up with your mobile app that you added in over on the back end of that account, My Account section. Here's the marketing reply to email, and then here's the marketing website. All right, now her name on here plus her designation is a little too big, so I'm going to click on this standard KW logo that automatically displays, and this is why I told you guys not to put inside another generic KW logo, because at the end of the day, I don't want you to have 2 generic KW logos on there. All right, and then here's her actual marketing logo too. Now, obviously, you can go through, you can change this out. So if I click on the KW logo, it gives us the same different, here's a logo library and whatnot, if I click on it properly. So you could actually go through and change this out too, or you can even click on it and delete it if you want to add inside your own image too. All right, completely up to you. All right, but this is what our piece would currently look like if we just went through. Now, once again, please, come in here, play around with this stuff. The best way to get, into this is just through muscle memory. So that way you guys can get ideas how to utilize everything. Now, if you are satisfied with what you've actually set up, remember to click that save option over here on the left-hand side. All right, because once you click save, then you can actually save this as whatever you want to. So that way you can re-access it later on. So if I want to do who's number 1 under real estate, maybe I'll do dash January 16th. I could click save, and that would automatically save this piece for me. All right, and there we go. Everything is saved. All right, so now if I want to come back to this later on, I'm definitely more than welcome to. All right, and of course, now I can then go through and exit out of this entire piece by clicking that exit option. I'm so sorry, I clicked that very quickly. I should have told you guys. It's right next to the save button at the top left. All right, but now we can actually get an idea of here's what our piece will look like down here of what we updated. All right, so here's all of our info. So then we can actually compose this email if we wanted to. All right, so if we compose the email, this will actually display in the body of the email. It's not going to be an attachment. It won't be a link or anything of that sort. All right, we can also edit this later on too. All right, or we can even publish this to the web and share. It'll actually give us a URL that we can utilize if we want to give this out to people so they can see this flyer we created. We can publish this onto these 5 different social media sites. All right, so there are a couple different ways we can actually share this out. Now, once again, we could also go through and edit the title of this piece, or we can always click the X button if we want to delete it too. All right, so I'm going to click yes. So remember, if you ever want to find all of your saved designs, remember we clicked the marketing option and went to manage designs on here so we can access that even further. All right, and remember, everything that populated on here was under the account, my account section. All right, so just to give you a heads up, it's under account, my account, and that's how it auto-populated. Now, the final thing, in order to access that marketing section, we click the plus sign of myMarketing and went to create marketing materials first to go to the marketing center. Or if you want to go over to, obviously, the campaigns immediately, you can click on manage and create campaigns too. So there you go. All right, so that is the end of our 3-hour myKW Academy overview class.